You're listening to the Abolitionists Roundtable, patriotic Black American conservative all-access radio, with your hosts, Del, Phil, and Janice. They're leading the charge in advancing the conservative revolution. Join the conversation at 734-822-1600.
Thanks a lot. All right, great. Thank you. You're oh boy, I think the bishop, whatever he said last night, it has us, join the conversation this morning. Join the conversation. This bathroom thing really has us fired up. This, the summer program job, the president, he's saying that the philosophy of ignorance and isolation is, he's saying that about. But then this summer, the White House singled out Utah for refugees for summer job program. So he allocate a $21 million in grants for jobs but anyway, here we got 97 million people that's out the job force, and instead of getting out the way and creating opportunities for other people, he's worried about the people that he brought in that's not even citizens, about creating a job program, summer job programs for these refugees. And so, but here, let's answer some of the calls, and then we'll get to you. We're going to get back to our agenda. So we're going to go, let's see. Oh, okay. So we have Bruce from Grosse Pointe in line one. Good morning, Bruce. How you doing, my friend?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. What a great event last night. I'll tell you what, he even had Jan fired up, my wife. And
yes.
She does not impress easily.
Yes. Oh, nice. Oh, great.
His passion and his eloquence were just, they were super. Everybody was on the edge of their seats, and they had people standing up applauding, and this was great. That was the mark of a great speaker, and he had some fantastic points to make. You're talking about, what was it you were talking about, CIS gender or something like that? What the heck that was?
Yeah, I don't know. They
I don't know either, but here's a new one I heard the other day, a minor attracted person. Now, that apparently is what some elements of the American Psychiatric Association are trying to apply to pedophiles.
Okay.
Yeah, we were warned that, once this gay homosexual marriage thing passed, that, the warnings were coming out that other groups and other, so-called disaffected minorities or whatever you want to call it would want their turn. Well, now we're seeing it.
Yeah, everybody's going to seeing it. There's going to be no end to this. Absolutely, Bruce.
Yeah, this is scary, and to attack parents that are rightly concerned over the safety of their sons and daughters. If someone from another of the opposite sex comes into their bathroom because they happen to identify at that particular moment as that particular sex, is, oh my God,
All right. All right, Bruce, hate to cut you off. We have Representative Peter Lucido on the line, so let's get to him. We'll talk to you later.
Check that
I know you gave Bishop one of your books.
Guys. So take care, God bless, and have a great one.
Thank you. All right,
no problem. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right, Derek, if you don't mind, can you get our State Representative Lucido representing the 36th District? That's that northwest Macomb County area. So if you don't mind getting him on for me, please. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing this morning? Thanks for coming on. Thank you for joining the Abolitionist Roundtable this morning. Now, basically, what we wanted to just ask you about is that I know you were on Let It Rip. Matter of fact, Tyrone, again, folks, if you watch a couple of days ago, our own Tyrone X from Wham was on there too. So, but you were, matter of fact, they were sitting next to a person that's was on the school board or something like that. She had a button filled. She had on a button that was a Black Panther button.
Whoa!
And so, but anyway, just talk to us about the city budget, the school budget that you're working on.
Here's the story. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
As you've indicated, I'm Representative Lucido from the North District here in Macomb County.
Yes.
I went to school in Detroit.
Okay.
So when you start to talk about the schools themselves, like Cass Tech, Denby, Finney, Osborne. You've got a host of representatives that are here in this state that have never stepped foot in those places, nor do they know where they're located.
Yes.
So you're voting on things that you don't even know sometimes as it relates to the people, the culture, as well as the economies of scales of, do we have public transportation to accommodate? Do we have the buildings to facilitate? And at the end of the day, you're voting on a package of bills that have to do with money and what I would call reforms.
Yes.
Reforms. Let's use that word because that's the best word to use.
Well, they do need reforms.
Well, they do, and here's the reason why. No matter who you point the finger at, we still got to educate the students under the Constitution of Michigan. Michigan's Constitution has a very clear understanding that we owe a public education to every student here in Michigan, period. End of story, no questions asked.
Okay.
Why? Because someday, guys, when we get old, okay, and I hope it's going to be a long time from now, we better have bright-minded, talented individuals to take care of us. And if they're not educated, they can't take care of us. So we have an obligation to educate the students, but at what cost and what price? The second thing is we had administrators and principals ripping off the kids. That's appalling, disgusting, and uncalled for. Why? Teachers shouldn't have went out a sick out. They should have went ahead and got all those administrators and principals and revolted against them, saying, you're causing us more grief. The teachers did nothing wrong. I'll repeat. They did absolutely nothing wrong. They didn't cause this problem. The students didn't cause this problems. The parents of the students didn't cause this problems. It was the people that were in charge as well as the administrators and the principals that ripped off the kids.
Yes.
Now, let's look forward. We've got some buildings that either have to be shut. I know there's been about 56 buildings I think the mayor took over, and Mayor Dugan is doing everything, and I mean everything. He's been up to Lansing. He's been in and out of meetings with every legislator.
You saying there's 56 buildings that school buildings that still need to be shut down?
No. I'm saying that right now those are on the rolls.
Oh, that's on the roll right now. So it's about 56.
The tax rolls of Detroit.
Okay.
Those were bought back by the mayor, and they're under the control of the city of Detroit.
Okay.
What I'm going to tell you is this. There's approximately 96 buildings still. I don't know, give or take, 93, 96 buildings.
Okay.
I don't know how many more need to be shut, but we went from 120,000 students down to 46,000 students.
Oh, my goodness,
Detroit.
Is it that low?
Now, guys, you know, the public's got to know this because where did they go? They went somewhere. I'll tell you where they went. They went to Southfield. They went to East Point. They went to Harper Woods. Why do I say that? Parents said enough is enough. I've had it. They put their hands up in the air and said, my kid deserves a better education and a better chance in life. And they went over the borders, went into these other communities to educate their kid.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to be realistic about a budget. I said on Fox 2, let it rip.
Yes.
You show me transparency. You show me accountability, and then I'll show you the money. Mm-hmm. Why? Giving money and throwing it in the black hole if it's going to be wasted is disingenuous, and it is against the will of the taxpayer. Sorry, but you know what? Ultimately, we are all paying for this.
Absolutely, we are. Here, can I ask you something? I noticed that they, whenever I hear whenever I hear them talk about this, they always say that the state still owe them X amount of dollars. What's the number, Phil? They always say that the state still owe us money.
$300 million.
$300 million. What is this from? I know you said, hey, wait a minute, that's before my time. But what is this? Is this they're referring to?
Let me give you guys the skinny. What's really happening here behind. There is a debt out there, and here's what was going on. Back in the 90s, when all this brewed up, you had unions and you had management sitting down at a table negotiating health care as well as negotiating pensions. And they were across the table from one another. They shook hands on it. They signed documents. Whether right or wrong, those numbers were unsustainable. I'll say it again. They were unsustainable. Mm-hmm. Either people argue because of the formula. Everybody that's listening needs to realize that every pupil that attends the Detroit Public Schools or the Macomb, Utica Public Schools, my district out here, they get a dollar value for each child. Roughly, the state is kicking in Detroit, about $8,000 a pupil and about $5,000 from the feds.
Okay.
You're looking at 13, I'll repeat it so no one misunderstands it, $13,000 a student.
Okay.
Now, I remember some of the private schools, even now, they're under 13,000 a student, and they're getting by.
Yes, they
But
are.
at any rate, when you're losing students and you're losing tax base, and I'll say it again, Detroit lost over 80,000 students over the last 12, 15 years.
Yeah.
And when you're losing that many students and the property values in Detroit are going down to sustain what's called taxable value to give back into the schools, you've got a perfect storm for a problem when you've already negotiated contracts for a pension and health care. So when you say,
I got
hey,
you.
Pete, what about that $300 million?
Yes.
Representative Lucido, what about that? Here's what's going on. The state stepped in back in the 90s and guaranteed that this money would be paid. And what I'm saying to you is that money has been what's called secured by the state of Michigan. And that's why when Judge Rhodes stepped in, who's now overseeing this, he said, a bankruptcy is an option, but it's not a good option because if we go bankrupt, we still got to pay the debt. We got to educate the kids, and we still got to pay the debt. So Representative Lucido says it's an option because you're supposed to give everybody all the options, but it's not a real good option because we still got to pay the debt even though we go bankrupt.
Mm-hmm.
And to the point, if I've got to go bankrupt, that's not going to do us any good here in the city because, let's face it, the city makes the suburbs thrive. I learned that a long time ago in urban planning.
Yes.
If you got a terrible city, you got a terrible suburb.
Yes.
You got a strong city, you got a strong suburb. That's the way it's got to be. So how do we rebuild it? Well, we got 46,000 students down there to go ahead and educate.